for clicking on the video. This is my recap and review for A Porsha Family Matters. This is season 1, episode 6. And y'all, we're going to be doing this reverse. I'm going to be talking about the stuff that really wasn't, I guess, important per se, but still important. But the last thing we're going to talk about is the brawl, because I got a lot to say. A lot. So let's get into it. We're back in Atlanta. The fight actually happened the day before the last day of the trip. And basically, we're at the Hosea Feed the Hungry headquarters. Aunt Liz is there. It's a brand new location. They're going to be having it, I guess, on the last episode, which is going to be the one that's on January the 16th. That's going to be the finale of the opening day of the actual headquarters, or the new headquarters. It looks like a very beautiful building. We also found out that Aunt Liz, who's over her and her husband are over the headquarters. They took it over after a grandfather passed away, who is Hosea Williams. They feed 51,000 people a year, which is amazing. And she said that she is they are the largest African American female ran homeless center. So kudos to you, Aunt Liz. And basically, Porsha is going to speak to Aunt Liz because she says that Aunt Liz grounds her, which I don't believe. But I do think Aunt Liz does have a soft spot for Porsha, because that is her brother's daughter and her brother is no longer here. So it does seem that she wants to have a relationship with her. So I'm not going to say they're not close, but it doesn't seem that Porsha understands the weight of what it means to be an activist and what it also means to uphold such a legacy. We end up we're here, we see Aunt Liz looking good in her little white and black dress with her new like blowout, and Porsha stops by with PJ, and they're just talking to Aunt Liz. And Aunt Liz basically tells us a story about how the foundation became to be, where after Martin Luther King was murdered, y'all like to say he died, no, he was murdered. Hosea was like, what? I guess the guy was, a lot of people are probably looking for what was the next move, because Martin Luther King was the head of the organization of the civil rights movement. And Hosea actually saw a guy eating out of a trash can, and he asked the man, well, how long has it been since you've eaten? And the guy said 3 days. And so he was like, oh, I got to help you. So that is what caused the foundation. And I think that's a beautiful story, in the sense of, you saw somebody who needed you, who was not needed you, but in need. And Hosea Williams decided to say, you know what? I can supply this need. I can help these people. And look, like, they started the foundation many years ago, and now they're feeding 51,000 people a year. That to me is what activism is. You see a need and you create something to fulfill that need. And that's what they did. So Porsha and Aunt Liz are sitting down, and I want to give Aunt Liz her credit when she said this would not have happened, or what should have happened for this to really be about blending your family is Simon, Porsha, Dennis, and the baby. And mind you, Simon's other kids were down there, but I don't think his wives signed off on the TV show, which they had every right to, if like they didn't feel like it was a positive place for their kids to sign off on it. But we do have proof that Pilar did hang out with them, that Porsha hung out with the kids, and that Simon hung out with his kids and PJ. So they were there. But we also know it's a reality show, and if they really wanted it to be something, they had to invite other cast of characters, because nobody wants to see Dennis, Porsha, and Simon trying to work a blended family, when a lot of people don't even think Simon and Porsha's relationship is real like that. It's also funny that Aunt Liz was like shading Porsha in a roundabout way, and Porsha wasn't Porsha wasn't on the uptake, because Aunt Liz basically said Porsha isn't ready for this legacy. Like, her shoulders are not ready. She was like, Porsha thinks she could do a few marches and put that fist up, and she's an activist, or like she's ready for this, and she's not. And that's true, because I think what proved that fact to be true is when Aunt Liz was like, you don't think you need to apologize to the other activists for your actions? And Porsha was like, no, like, I had a moment. things happen, and basically, like, I still think what the police do to black and brown people is horrible, and I should be able to say that. And that's the thing, she should, but you should not, because I want to think about this before I say it. You should be able to be yourself and still stand up when you see somebody being accosted, and still be able to use your voice and your platform to speak out against that. But the way in which Porsha got so heavily involved in the Breonna Taylor horrible situation with the marches and everything, it's like, you as an activist, if you're going to wear that title, that comes with certain responsibilities, and one of them is not acting like a rabid animal trying to fight your baby daddy on TV. Like, as much as I don't like Yandy, because I don't like Yandy, but even on Love and Hip Hop, we've never seen Yandy get physical with anybody. We've seen her yell, we've seen her argue with people, but Yandy holds a little bit of decorum when she's on Love and Hip Hop, where you never seen Yandy throw hands with nobody. So people will give Yandy more respect than they give you, because at the end of the day, we've seen Yandy put in work. The whole Breonna Taylor situation with the marches and things of that nature have died down, because I know there are people still marching and trying to get answers, but we have yet to see you put any of that information on your Instagram, since you want to be on this show talking about, I have a platform. You have a platform, but I haven't seen you use it since the marches and all of that has died down. So are you really an activist? And that's why people call you an actorvist, or they just said you use your activism for a storyline. And a lot of people, that rubbed a lot of people a wrong way because of how serious a situation this is. I also found it very telling that Aunt Liz was pushing Porsha to try to talk to Dennis, because I think she really realizes that Porsha is the issue and it's not Dennis. Yes, what Dennis did to Porsha, being a cheating dog and cheating on her when she was pregnant, was wrong. But at this point, your child is 2 years old. And if you're going to be getting married, then what Dennis did to you, yes, it can be a sore spot for you, but it should not enrage you to the point of what you did in the beginning of this episode. So then the episode continues, and we see Porsha and Lauren W. in Porsha's house. They basically got to get all of Dennis's stuff out there. And Porsha was trying to act like Dennis didn't have that much stuff there. But the basement is horrible. And I saw somebody say something on Twitter that I thought was very poignant, where it was like, Porsha has someone to call her to let Dennis in, to like let Dennis into the gated community, but her basement looked like that. And it was like, and they were like, it's alluding to the fact that it's like kind of like a metaphor in the sense of like, her house is gorgeous and pretty on the outside, and maybe the upstairs is okay, but downstairs in the basement, it's a disheveled mess. And you can even see that when we saw that episode when it was Londi and Lauren trying to get Dennis's robe back, and her closet was disheveled. And it's like, Portia's mind is not organized. It's just not, because that basement was gross. And Porsha was trying to act like all that stuff in the basement wasn't Dennis's, when if you saw the whole Porsha's baby special and stuff, most of that stuff in the basement was Dennis's, because we physically saw Dennis move that stuff in the basement because they couldn't figure out if Porsha was going to stay in Atlanta with Dennis or stay in the countryside with where Porsha's home is. And Dennis said that he has his couch still there, a grill, an entertainment system, clothes, and we saw socks. We saw the couch.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Siri, shush.
Sorry, could you say that again?
We saw the socks. We saw the entertainment system. We saw everything. And then on top of that, he had a box of his mail, and the only person who pointed that out was Larry, who I don't even know who Larry is, but they said Larry is Mama Elsa's boyfriend / like her honey. So that means that's her boyfriend, basically, or somebody she mess around with. And he was pointing out that, like, no, them dishes is Dennis. That mail is like, he was like, you want him to be able to do his taxes, right? And Porsha was like, oh yeah, we want him to do his taxes. Basically alluding like, yeah, we want him to do his taxes so she can get money. And then she was talking to Lauren W, and Lauren was basically agreeing when Porsha told Lauren W about how Aunt Liz said it just should have been Simon, Dennis, Porsha, and the baby. And Lauren was like, yeah, it probably wouldn't have got that bad. So then the last scene we see is Porsha with the shortcut in baby PJ's, what's it called? In her room. And like they're packing up because Pilar is supposed to be getting her tonsils taken out. And Dennis was dropping the baby by. That's why I mentioned the call, because she had to let him in because I guess the person who guards the gate was like, Dennis McKinley is here. And she's like, oh yeah, let him in. And so she over here talking on the phone with her mom, talking about she nervous. And I'm like, you should be embarrassed, if anything, that you hit him that way. Because if the roles were reversed and Dennis was a woman and Porsha was a man, we would all be looking at Porsha. If Porsha was the dude, like, she should be in jail for the way she acted, and that she need to be sedated. So that's when the episode ended with what's his name, with Dennis dropping off the baby. I kind of was confused why they're getting the baby's tonsils taken out at such a young age, because Porsha said that the little girl can't take the what's it called, the pain medication, which I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't know if I could do that as a parent, because I did agree with Porsha when she was like, I don't know if I could take her being in pain. And I'm like, yeah, because if she can't take the pain medicine, I couldn't. Because I remember how badly it hurt when I got my wisdom teeth taken out. And my daddy tried to hide my drugs because he was like, you're taking them too much. You're taking them too much. You're not going to get addicted. I was like, bro, my gums is bleeding. Give me my drugs. But yeah, y'all, now let's get into this chaotic. Let's get into this trash. And mind you, y'all, I like reality fights. I grew up on Bad Girls Club. I've watched every season of Bad Girls Club when they were airing. Like, I've seen season 1 all the way to, I think it's like season 16. And I even watched the All-Star special. And the main purpose was to watch these chicks fight each other. And them fights were wild. But this right here to me was just, it was trash, y'all. And I took screenshots and I wrote on these screenshots. So we did detective work over here, okay? Okay, because I care. I'm sorry. I just got out of class, so I'm just a little woo right now. Okay, so the fight starts off like the way it left off, where you got Mama Gina sitting at the table, and she's like, why are we talking about this? Because they're still bringing up the whole situation when Dennis cheated on Porsha with one of his waitresses, and then Dom saw that they rehired the girl after she got fired and told Porsha. So Lauren had said something about, like, because when Mama Gina was like, can we move on from this? Lauren said, well, your son is still, like, Dennis is still going. Well, then Storm says, your son is the one still talking about it. Then you hear Dennis say, Storm, shut the F up, bro. And Porsha's like, oh, I'm tired. He not gonna keep disrespecting my cousin. Security. So she's calling security. She walks over to production. Mind y'all, like I told y'all last time, there's only one way into this area where they're having dinner. Like, we saw the wait staff go up the stairs and down the stairs bringing the drinks and the food. And I'm like, why are you walking over there? You already yelled for security. Security is coming. Why are you making this seem more tense? So then Porsha is like, tell him he can go on with his mom, his sluts, and they could go. So I'm like, okay, she doing a lot. So then you see Dennis being like, all right, let's go. He tell his mama, like, come, because Mama Gina is trying to tell him to sit down. And he's like, nah, Mom, like, let's go. I'm ready to go. So she gets up, she grabs her stuff. And as they're leaving, Dennis looks at Darlene, and he's like, and Darlene, you the problem too. And I think the reason he said that is because Storm is 23 years old, and she still has the mindset of a 16-year-old who feels like they're all big and bad but don't know nothing about life. And the thing of it is I feel like Porsha family probably gives Storm a pass because it seems like Darlene wasn't really there for Storm in her formative years. So it was just kind of like, you are a part of the problem because your daughter don't know when to shut it up. She don't know when to shut it all the way up. So then she like, Porsha is yelling, let's go, go, go. I promise y'all, I'd have told Porsha, shut the up then. Like, we would have argued. And I'd have popped Simon's melon-headed ass in the, I'd be angry. So then Gina, as Porsha's yelling, is saying, you don't have to yell at him. Like, you don't have to yell at him. And then Gina says, Gina was like, and Gina kept saying, you ain't got to yell like we're leaving. Like, they were leaving. This is why I don't fault Dennis or Mama Gina. You told them to leave. You called for security, Porsha, and they were leaving. Why did you then start yelling at his mama like a banshee? Like, you could have just said it, honestly, even before then, like with the whole yelling, let's go, let's go. She could have, once they got past production near the stairs, Porsha, Simon, and Storm should have walked back to the table. They should have not still been standing there. Like, security wasn't doing security's job. Because I don't understand. Church security is better than this security. And church security shouldn't even be that bad because we in church. Bruh. So then Dennis tells Porsha, I don't have to be here. You asked me to come here, bro. And then Storm says, and you're still here 4 days later. So then Dennis says, Storm, shut the up. Like, yeah, girl, shut up. Shut up. Like, Storm is a child. Storm, and that's the thing is, for you to be 23 years old and you still conduct yourself in the manner of like a hot-ass 14-year-old, 16-year-old, that says a lot about your growth and maturity. And for you to be on the internet, because people in the comments told me that you deleted those tweets. You deleted all those tweets of you talking negatively about Dennis after you saw the fight. When the first thing, if you were a rational 23-year-old, would have been to sit back and watch the footage and see everything play out. Because like I told y'all, she told us in Twitter Spaces, because I was there to ask her a question, because I asked her about using the P word, because I said that's a strong word if you don't have proof, because don't nobody like them people. Not nobody. And if you do, you got problems. But she said she meant to use the word predator or pervert. And I said, well, you should retract it. But the fact that you are so embarrassed that you deleted that shows that you jumped the gun. And two things I think really happened. Well, yeah. Two things I really think caused this situation is I think Porsha gassed Storm and Dom. Like, she really, because Dom was fine after the whole tequila thing. But then he came back and his atmosphere and his energy was so different. Like, he walked in with them shades and it was like he had something he needed to get off his chest. Mind you, Dennis should have stopped saying he was gonna throw hands with him. But you were fine when you were fine with him at the tequila thing. So it looked weird for you to come back and be like about it at the dinner. Like, it was weird. So then Simon is telling Dennis, he's saying like, let's go, we'll deal with this another day. Simon, honestly, I'm mixed, because some people said Simon looked like he was scared of Dennis. Other people was like, no, he was trying to de-escalate the situation. I'm gonna give Simon a pass. It does seem like Simon was trying to de-escalate the situation. Now, could he have been like nervous about fighting Dennis? Yes, but at the end of the day, I feel like Simon is aware of the situation that he's in, and he always wants to come off like he's the good guy. So I definitely think he was trying to make it seem like trying to de-escalate the situation, because it's like, Porsha look crazy. We got cameras here. Like, we'll just deal with it in the morning. Everybody just need to chill out. So I'll give Simon that. So then, y'all, this is where it kicked off. Because supposedly Mama Gina said something, because Porsha called Dennis a no good N-word. Then I think when Mama Gina was walking down the steps, You hear Porsha say, "You heard what I said," and she lunges forward. And my thing is like, I gave her slightly a pass when I was looking, because I don't think she was close enough to like put her hands on Mama Gina, because she still had one hand on Storm, who was directly behind her. So I think she was leaning, but like she's lunged, like, "You heard what I said," like that. And I think Dennis was like, "Oh, we already in a," and this is my thing. For everybody to be like, "Oh, Dennis shouldn't have, Dennis made the situation worse." No. No. Because this is my thing. If we are already arguing, and I've heard you say, "Take your mama, you need to leave, your mama and your no good sluts need to leave." I already know you don't like me like that. So I already know you're yelling at me. You're yelling at me, telling me to go. Mind you, you are legitly by the stairwell where I got to leave because you are kicking me out. That's the part that didn't make sense to me with Porsha. It's like, you are kicking Dennis out. You're trying to put your dick on the table and be like, I run this. I'm the star here. So you're trying to kick him out. Then why didn't you just let him leave? Like, honestly, y'all, if she would have just let him leave, the impact would have been the same. Because everybody would have been like, "Oh, okay, Porsha is running this because he left and she called security." You fighting made you the bad guy. Because no one is excusing Dennis for what he did. We all know Dennis cheating on you while you were pregnant was jacked up. It was wrong. Like, he was legitimately wrong. But you cannot hold on to that this hard when you are about to marry your co-worker's husband. Like, you're about to marry someone else. You should not. And the thing is, like, you shouldn't be marrying someone else if you still have unresolved issues with your ex-man, who is going to have to be in your life for the rest of your life because y'all share a baby together. Like, bro, grow up. So then, when Porsha's like, you heard what I said, like lunging at Mama, like, I'll say leaning, but she was aggressively leaning at Mama Gina. Storm is still behind her. Dennis, I don't know if Dennis put his hand or grabbed her arm, like, "Girl, don't you go near my mama." And that's one thing. All of y'all trying to act like Dennis is like this bad guy because I've seen Porsha things like, well, no, if anybody run up on my mama, and as short as I am, because I'm 5'2.5", anybody run up on my mama, I may lose the fight, but you gonna get a foot to the face real quick. So I don't fault him. As aggressive as Porsha was, like, go. When you kicked him out and security was up there, dummy. That's the part that is like, this fight didn't have to happen. That's the part that is just annoying. It's like, this fight did not have to happen, but it happened because you are an agent of chaos and you are childish and immature, because you told him to leave. He got up and he was leaving. Him and his mama was leaving so he could go back to his slut that you don't like. But they were leaving. They were legitimately leaving. Then you proceed to get mad aggressive with his mama. Like, ain't nobody gonna check you. Because the fact of the matter is, anybody came at Mama Elsa like that, you be ready to knuck if you buck real quick. So why do you think that he would not stop you from harming his mother? And the only reason she comes at Mama Gina is because she can't get to Dennis the way she normally would anybody else. Dennis knows Porsha. He always says he knows Porsha because Dennis knows Porsha's cards. He's seen her hand. Porsha has shown her hand to Dennis, and Dennis knows how to play her. And she hates the fact that she can't do like the things that she normally does to get underneath people's skin. It doesn't work on Dennis, because although Dennis does probably still have feelings for Porsha and still wants to be with Porsha, he is good at not showing it, and it bothers Porsha because Porsha is like, I'm Porsha Williams. I'm Miss Peach Juice. I got a jiggly booty and titties. Like, she thinks that, like, she's just this somebody, and that's not to say that that you can't feel like you're special. But at the end of the day, Porsha is a dime a dozen in Atlanta. Porsha is beautiful, but Porsha got her body done, got a big old booty and some nice titties with a slim waist. Like, can't nobody in Atlanta or any of the areas surrounding Atlanta, like they can't go to Miami, Mexico, Puerto Rico, wherever people go to get their surgeries done and look like Porsha. Like, bro, what? So then it's security in front of Dennis, y'all. And y'all gonna see these. I put arrows, okay? Because security had their face blurred out. Production blurred out the security guards' faces. So security, it goes Storm on the wall, Porsha, then there's a security guard in between them, then it's Dennis. Then all of a sudden, Porsha pops Dennis and just start windmilling. Pops in, and you can see her hit him in his face. And it's like, do she got daddy long leg arms? Because the security guard looked huge. And she was like, she was just going. And I'm like, how tall is Porsha, y'all? Because I'm trying to figure out how her reach extended that far. So she windmilling. Then we see Darlene in that tight yellow dress hop up like, oh no. And so then you see Lauren grab Dennis's like right arm, right arm. And then Dom is behind Dennis, like just standing there, like, I think he was like, Dennis, no, or if he ever said anything, but they're like, Dennis, no. And then you see like our Dom is just standing there like shook. Then you see Darlene is behind Dennis, grabbing onto, like holding onto Dennis with one of her arms. Lauren is still holding on to Dennis. And I'm like, if y'all don't get y'all psychotic niece and your sister, calm that down first before you. And this is the thing, I said this on Twitter. Had it been me, had I been Dennis in that situation, I just told y'all I'm only 5'2.5". Had it been me, I guarantee you I would have faded everybody. Everybody would have caught a fade, whether you were my friend or not. Because at this point, it is more than 3 people grabbing this man. And I would have felt like I had to defend myself, like my life was in danger. Because it was too many people pulling on him. So we're at this part. So Darlene is holding on to Dennis. You see Lauren holding Dennis's arms. Then you see what's it called? You see Simon like holding on to Porsha, and Porsha's like, you try to hit me. So then she starts flinging stuff. She threw a placemat first. She grabs it and throws a placemat. She grabs it, throws a placemat. Then you see like the security guard has his arm over Dennis's, like it's not completely over his like whole thing, but it's like an arm is hanging over his shoulder, like trying to hold on to him. So mind you, that's 3 people on Dennis. You got Lauren holding his hand. The security guard has his arm around his neck. And then you got Darlene holding on to him for dear life. And then production is all in the middle trying to stop it. And the other security guard is trying to help Simon corral Porsha. And I'm just like, and then you hear Dennis when they go back to Dennis like, they went after my mom. So that makes me believe that Storm did it too. Like, was you trying to fight her too? Were you trying to fight her too? And then in Spaces, Storm was like, well, I would fight if Dennis was trying to protect his mama. So why can't I protect mine? If you were the one who tried to fight his mom too, because the fact that he said they went after my mama, like somebody said on Twitter, Dennis needs some sisters, because we would have rolled out there. Matter of fact, we wouldn't have even rolled. I'd have got you at the airport. I'd have been like, when she get home, bruh? Because you're not going to try to fight my mama. So then, again, Dennis has 3 people on him, y'all. Porsha picks up a plate. She starts throwing plates. Why are you throwing plates at people? Why? And it's the blatant disregard for everybody else that's around you. If Dennis was mainly supposed to be your target, why are you harming production? Why are you harming your little cousin? And mind you, Storm lied, because Storm was like, Dennis took off my lace front. When we saw the up against the wall, like the security guard legitimately put his whole entire body on top of her to protect her. Dennis wasn't nowhere near Storm. It was 3 people on Dennis. Lauren, the security guard, and her mama, Darlene. And and then Porsha, as she's throwing the plate, Porsha said, where is your effing mama at? Like, so you were trying to come at her. You were trying, and we didn't even see Gina. So I don't know if Gina was trying to help Dennis out or if production was like, oh no, we got to get her out of here, and took her down the steps. And so, next thing you know, Darlene is pulling on Dennis's shirt to the point where she falls down. Lauren W. is like, Darlene, get up. I'm like, Miss Darlene, calm down, get up. So then Simon is still holding on to Porsha and trying to get her away. Security's still trying to help Simon, who's holding on to Porsha, while Portia's still acting like a rabid banshee. Then, like I said, Storm is up against the wall this whole time because a producer has their body up against Storm. It's trying to protect Storm. So then, as they're trying to walk Dennis out, Dennis has 2 security guards on him, and production is holding his hands. And then Portia's steady behind him, still trying to get at him, and out of nowhere, Storm starts to throw punches at him too, like Porsha did the beginning of the fight. So who took off your lace front, Storm? Who really took off your lace front? And if Dennis had skull dragged you, I'd have been okay with it. Because at this point, y'all tried to jump this man. Your mama, you, and Porsha. And even Lauren, because Lauren started hitting Dennis out of nowhere. So then Storm, and I mean just swinging on him. Porsha steady, and this is my thing. As Storm is swinging on Dennis, Portia's behind him trying to swing at the back of the man's head. And mind you, he still has three people on him. 2 security, because it switched. It was 2 security guards, and then a production hand is holding his hands so he can't fight back. So where did this man hit you? Where? So then Porsha steady still picking up stuff, like trying to throw it. You see production trying to stop everybody. Dom ain't doing nothing. Lauren W. was doing way more than Dom, trying to get Darlene to stop acting crazy. So then you see Darlene is like, F Dennis, and she trying to get at Dennis. Mind you, when Darlene was on the floor pulling, and I mean, y'all, she pulled that man's shirt all the way down to here. Lauren then hits him like, Dennis, that's a woman. And I'm like, get your auntie. Get your auntie. Why is your aunt dragging on this man this way? And he didn't even hit her. Y'all, I watched this fight at least 6 or 7 times. Just that first six minutes of the fight, I watched it back to back to see if Dennis hit Darlene, especially that portion, because I didn't understand why Lauren commenced to hitting him, and he didn't do anything. He legit hung his arm so Darlene would fall on the floor. And I was like, if anything, if he mushed her, it would have been okay, because why are all of y'all on him? So then you see Dennis still has 3 or 4 he has production and he has security guards on him. Darlene is steady trying to grab at him. Porsha and Simon are behind Dennis, and Simon's trying to hold on to Porsha. She's like, let me go. Let me go. That's how she sound, y'all. Legit, that's how she sound. She put so much bass in her voice. Let me go. And Simon's still holding on to her like, no. So then she grabs a boom mic, y'all, and then proceeds to thrash the boom mic. Like, she just grabbed it. I said, she lost her mind. This lady has lost her mind, because she grabs it, y'all. This, and she's like doing this with the boom mic, not caring who she hits because Dennis was not that close to her. Honestly, she probably is the one that hit Storm with it, or is she in other, and like, it was just wild. It was wild. Then Dom ain't doing nothing. Dom is just walking around trying to, like, he ain't doing nothing, trying to fight back tears, because I guess his anxiety went up, because we didn't, like, it was just, I was like, what are you here for? What are you here for? What are you here for, Dom? So then you see two production hands fighting over the like the one of the sound equipment, because I don't know, the two of them were just hoping that it wasn't nobody else or didn't realize it was nobody else. Darlene is still grabbing at Dennis. Mind you, Dennis has a security guard and two other production hands on him, and Lauren W is trying to pull Darlene back, like, calm down, lady. Then Lauren, Dom run over to Porsha and Simon to see if Portia's okay. Production is still trying to hold some of the equipment, and Darlene is still steady grabbing at Dennis. Like, no, like, Dennis' hands were not free to pop anybody or hurt anybody. Then you see, and now it's like a melee. It's like too many. It's like production and security are all on Dennis. Lauren W is still trying to get Darlene. Darlene scratched Dennis in his face to the point where his sunglasses fell off. And I said, she was trying to claw the man's eyes out. Then Darlene's like, F Dennis. I said, and honestly, I think Darlene was just mad that Dennis called her out of how bad of a mom she is, because you're challenged. So then Porsha is screaming and thrashing about as Simon has gotten her to the little sofa area, and she throttling. She like gator barrel rolling, just rolling. And then she punched production in the face. She punches the black production lady with the with her box braids and a bun in the face. And like Lauren is just like, and I'm like, get your sister, bro. Like, get your sister. It was too much. Like, y'all, it was way too much. So then Londi goes over to Porsha, and Londi's like, Porsha, calm down. Porsha, calm down, because she looked crazy. Simon still has his hands on her. Lauren is trying. All of a sudden, now Lauren want to try to calm her down. Then you got Lauren saying, get him out of here. Get him out of here. When I'm like, you didn't do nothing. You like Liz said, spiritual leader, you best be leading. You ain't leading not a thing, ma'am. You didn't lead nothing. You didn't try to call the situation when you know your sister was in the wrong. You know your sister was in the wrong, and you didn't do anything. And I liked you, Lauren, but after this, and after reading them tweets, you are just as bad as your sister, because you enable your sister to be such a horrible person. You know what your sister did last night was you know she caused all of this. You know she caused all of this. And yet you still acting like she ain't do all of that. Make no sense. So then Dom, so for some reason, Dom get up on top of the couch. Like he needed a better view. And then he started crying. And then you see Porsha like, he touched my family. He touched my family. And I'm like, your family touched him, ma'am. Your family touched him. What are you talking about, bruh? What are you talking about? So then Dom gets down off the couch. He's like going to the bar, and he's like banging on the table. And I'm like, what was that for? He crying like Dom, and I honestly think what happened is Dom got scared, or his anxiety went up, or he felt guilty because he got gassed up by Porsha, and it caused all of this. So then I was Lauren W, because then you see, I felt so bad for that waiter. The waiter come up, and he got the drink, and he just like, and Lauren's like, put it right there. Yeah, just put it right there. Put it right there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So then Aunt Liz runs over there and she starts praying. And my thing was like, I got why, because I think this just like it really like broke her heart, or it very probably much like lit a fire in her spirit, because she was shocked when Porsha even called security on Dennis. She was shocked before, like she was just like so she was praying. As she's praying, Simon interrupts the prayer and he's like, can you hand me her shoes? Can you put her shoes on? I don't want her to get her feet on these glass. You didn't even help in the fight, so why don't you get your big ass up and pick up them sandals and put them sandals on that lady's feet? And you don't interrupt nobody praying, okay? And when she was really trying to like I don't know, calm your psychotic fiance spirit, that demonic stuff. And that's the thing. Anytime someone's always like I'm the light, you are not the light. You an agent of chaos. You banshee. So she prays. They put on the socks, and then they're leaving. And this is when I really was like, I can't do Porsha, because as they're leaving and everyone's just like kind of like, production is shook. Like they can't believe all of this happened. Like everybody else is like, you know, production is trying to help everybody to the steps. They getting Aunt Liz. They doing everything. She was like, I want him locked up in prison, and his mama. So you were really trying to get Dennis locked up in Mexico, like ain't nobody seen locked up abroad. We know what we all seen what it looked like to get locked up in Mexico. But the Black Lives Matter activist was really trying to get her baby daddy and his mama, who you were the one being mad aggressive to, locked up in Mexico. Okay, y'all. Okay. I can't. It's the next day after the fight. The next day is the last day. So after this, they all going home. And everyone's reflecting and trying to get ready because they're going to go to this chakra cleansing. Storm decides not to go, but they show a picture of her, like a scene of her doing her makeup, and she didn't look that bruised up. So I feel like you lied about that, ma'am. Or if you did have bruises, your cousin did that, and you were embarrassed. You were very much embarrassed. So we also find out that Mama Gina and Dennis left, which I'm like, good for y'all, because I wouldn't want to stay there, because they probably all got their tickets around the same time. So that means they would have had to run into Porsha or sit near Porsha and her family, and I wouldn't want to be bothered with nobody who put their hands on me the night before. So Porsha is reflecting, talking about, you know, I don't know what happened, but I take accountability for the part I played. I'm like, you played the whole entire part. The situation never had to get physical. You set it off. And the thing is, like, Porsha had to take the minimum, like 0.3% of like accountability, so she knew for a fact she didn't look like a total, like a total loser. Because it's like, you're the reason this happened. Like, you're the reason this happened. There was no need for you to start swinging on that man like a banshee out of nowhere. And you know you made yourself look bad. And the funny thing is, y'all, I don't think Porsha even thought this was going to get shown in its entirety, because like 2 weeks ago when they were talking about, like when Porsha and Simon came out talking about how bad Dennis was, and how there was a scene she shot with Dennis where Dennis said some horrible thing about her mothering, y'all, I really don't think she knew that production was going to air this whole thing out, or she probably would have talked about this fight first, because she did post a post, then she deleted it, and now she put up a new post with her and PJ in it, talk about she makes me stronger. Oh girl, bye. You're a joke. You are a joke. And so this lets me know that EP credit was just a vanity title, because you didn't even know this was coming. Or she knew it was coming, but she thought they were gonna black out everything and give us some shaky edits, and they like really legitimately showed everything in its entirety. So like I said, everybody's reflecting. I will note that Simon was giddy watching Dom and Dennis fight, and I found that so gross. Because my thing is, like, it's different when spectators, because we're viewers are spectators, but these are supposed to be people that you're supposed to create and merge your family with. You should have been like, if you're supposed to Simon is always trying to act like he's the head of house, then you should have started reprimanding or at least de-escalated the situation between Dom and Dennis. Not sit there with the like Cheshire grin, like smiling giddily as they were arguing. So production lets us know Mama Gina and Dennis leave. Then we find out that like Porsha sent everybody a text message that night of the fight to not talk about it, because Porsha knows if they talk about it, then there will be sound bites and footage that they can merge in together with the fight, and they can continue showcasing the fight. So she could do that. But she can't help her cousin out, who we now know Storm deleted them tweets of her saying all that horrible stuff about Dennis. So she just, oh gosh. So then they're all getting ready to go to this Chakra Cleanse, and they on this fake ass bus ride, because that's what I legitimately wrote in my notes. Because nobody was talking. They were all trying to act like real, like, you know, we're a family. Yay, rainbows and sunshine. And then what really tripped me out was Porsha had the nerve to be like, my family just sweeps on things underneath the rug, and we got to stop doing that. And you're a culprit of it. You are the main culprit of how, like, it was just like, like Lauren said, do you not hear yourself speak? Like, you texted your whole entire family the night before and told them not to speak about the fight because you knew there would be a sound bite of it. Then Lauren gonna say in her tweets, and y'all should check out my video I did about that one, it's before this one, where she was like, we boohoo cried on the bus after the fight, but that doesn't mean y'all had a legit conversation about the situation. Y'all didn't have that conversation. So then they get to the Chakra Cleanse, and we finally see Esther, which I'm like, was Esther just back up? Because then once Dennis and Mama Gina left, all of a sudden we get to see Esther. So they doing the Chakra Cleanse. They're sitting down, and they're basically like talking about the situation, and Aunt Liz basically says she felt like Gina was growing, Mama Gina was growing, and she was evolving, and she hates the fact that she wasn't able to see it. The thing about it is that I keep calling her Darlene. Mama Gina and Aunt Liz actually bonded, became closer, and I think they were able to see parts of each other and really connect with one another in a way that nobody else in the family was able to see. So I'm happy that Aunt Liz was out there advocating for Mama Gina. So then Lauren gonna chime in and talk about, like, can we just talk about ourselves? And I'm like, Lauren, at this point, shut the hell up, bruh. Like, shut up. You're a trash spiritual leader. You are trash at your job, because the fact that you're going along with this whole thing of Porsha, like this whole thing going along with Porsha's whole thing of not speaking about it, that shows that you're willing to let somebody undermine your spiritual teachings. So you need to reevaluate if this is even the field you want to go in, because a lot of people who are spiritual advisors are not afraid to really go there with their people. Or they're like, if it's not people, they're patients, I would say, those people. So then production pops out and they break the fourth wall, and they're just kind of like, what are we doing? The production, and I think the guy, it's a white guy, but he looks familiar. He looks like the white guy who was trying to trying to hold tick tick boom boom, as what's her name, Erica De Niro says in the stairwell when she was trying to fight Candace and trying to go back and forth with Candace. And he's basically like, what's going on here? Like, y'all really not about to talk about this fight? Like, y'all really not about to talk about this fight. And like I said, production already knew Porsha had texted everybody not to talk about it, because then we see them asking Lauren, Dom, Londi, and Aunt Liz. And honestly, Lauren and Dom were like, I don't, trying not to answer the question when Londi was like, yeah, I got a text from her, and she basically told me, she said she asked if I was okay, and then she basically told me not to talk about it, just be silent. And then Aunt Liz was like, yeah, Mama Porsha told us to be quiet. So it's like, they got confirmation. And then the production hand is like, why are y'all acting like this didn't happen? This is weird. Like, y'all should be talking about this. And then Porsha's like, can we cut the scene? Are we done with the scene? Can we cut? Like, acting like a bratty child. Can we cut the scene? Why don't we just cut? Oh, we're done. We can rap. We're done. And I'm like, oh. And that's how I know. I feel like, honestly, Porsha burned so many bridges with production. If somebody in that camp was going to try to save her, she ruined it. She punched the producer in the face. She caused that whole entire fight. Then on top of that, now you acting like a spoiled brat, while production probably doesn't like the fact that you're trying to undermine them by telling your family not to speak about something so like big. So it's the last night. They have an end of the dinner party, and Porsha finally decides, like, we're gonna talk. So it's an all-white party. Porsha gives some fake cry, like, I really think this was so important. When, if it was important, why didn't you show up to any yoga practices, any meditation, anything? If you didn't show up to anything that was supposed to be meaningful. And then when you did, you messed it up with your nasty attitude when they were at the swimming hole. Like, I'm just like, bro. And then I'm looking at Lauren funny, because Lauren, I don't know why Lauren admitted that this was like her first retreat. I said, sis, I would have never admitted that. I'd have been like, you know, I would have kept my mouth shut, because this is not a good advertisement of your job, because you didn't lead nothing. Like Aunt Liz said, spiritual leader, you best be leading, because you didn't. You really didn't, ma'am. You didn't lead nothing. Then Simon decides he wants to be like the man of the house. And mind you, everybody else is in white, but Simon decides to wear black. And I know they probably told everybody, oh, bring a white outfit for the party. But Simon has on this black outfit, and he talking about, like, don't let last night destroy what we made here. Mind you, where the hell you been, Simon, with your melon head? Where you been, bruh? Where you been? Now all of a sudden you talking about, like, don't let it destroy what we built here. Then they asked him, and like production asked him in his talk, is like in his green screen, he's like, you know, this ain't that worse of a fight. I've seen fights that are like that are even worse than this. I would rate this fight a 2. And I'm looking at him like, that was a 2? Because to me, that fight was probably, if I really had to put on them, probably a solid 8. A solid 8. The next thing that probably would happen is Dennis would have got like bodily injuries, because y'all, like, your fiance was throwing placemats. Then it's glass on the floor, because she was also pushing like glass off the table to try to get to him. So what are you talking about, bruh? So the night ends. They do that stupid aho crap. Then everyone's back in Atlanta. We see Dennis and Darlene. They got the baby there running around the hot dog factory. And basically, Dennis told his mama, like, you gotta let me handle these things. And what's her name? Mama Gina said, I don't care if you're 40, you're my child. And she basically, like, Dennis confirmed that Porsha tried to lunge at his mama, and he was trying to protect his mama. And Mama Gina even said that she tried to attack her. So that's confirmation already where it is. Then we got Porsha lying to Mama Elsa. And mind y'all, she's sitting in the bed eating chips. And they're Lay's chips. The grease on her hands, she rubbed it on them pillows. So she need to go wash them pillows. And honestly, y'all, all I could think about was Cordell. When Cordell said she was sitting on his couch, sitting in his master bedroom on his cream furniture, eating a pizza, to telling Peter that. And then she tells she's telling Mama Mama Elsa about the fight, and she's lying. Porsha is legitimately lying to her mom. She said that Dennis told Storm to shut the F up, the B word, and they show flashbacks of him saying, shut the F up, bro. Then she lies on Gina, saying that Gina said was telling her to get over it, when Gina just was like, can we move on to something else? Like, we're not here for that. So it was just a mess. It was legitimately a mess. And like, next episode is gonna be the season finale, which I am actually happy for, because I'm over her. Like, honestly, y'all, I really don't know what Porsha can do to rewrite history, because right now the tides of anger are very hot right now with her. A lot of her diehard fans are angry and upset. You got some people who are Kenya stans and Candy stans who are like, we've been telling y'all this. And I'm just like, doing this show was a horrible idea for Porsha, especially because I think the issue is Porsha works better in an ensemble cast, because she can pretend to be the funny, bubbly, ditzy, pretty girl. But you can't do that with your family. Like, you can't be ditzy, bubbly, and a hood rat and want to fight people, because it works. It's different when you're fighting people you don't have any like family connections to. But these are supposed to be people you're supposed to have in your life until you're not here on this earth anymore. And to me, I think you ruined, like, I really think you ruined a lot of relationships, like with your fans, with like your like entertainment life. Like, it's gonna take a minute. You're gonna probably have to sit down for a minute and regroup. But yeah, y'all, that's it. That is all. I know this video is like it's long. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your views. Please drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. And remember to be bravely authentic, y'all. And I'm out. Deuces.